Eurosonic is very important because it's for musicians, but also for the people.
I've always wanted to escape from here, go far away and just, forget about the place where I came from.
Music is that thing when I'm feeling down or I have a lot of questions to know what is going on and to reflect.
They are monsters to me. I'm not afraid to say it. I always said no to X Factor, The Voice, because they do reach out. And that's not the way I want to do my music. So...
Hey everyone, welcome to Far Out Podcast. My name is Tony Santos, your host, and today we have an amazing lineup. We have Rommy Gabay and Jelle Mulder, all the way from the Netherlands.
Yes.
All the way from the Netherlands.
All the way.
And all the way from Sicily, we have Aurora D'Amico.
Ciao, everyone. Hello.
Hello. So, in this podcast, we talk about music, we talk about your journey into music, and we start with the introduction of yourself. So, who is you? Who is you? Rommy.
Well, me is Rommy Gabay.
Yeah.
I'm a singer from Holland, from Groningen, this town up in the north. And I make music for now 6 years, I think. And I make soul music with hints of hip hop and jazz and funk. And I write and do that on my own, but also with the band. And today Jelle Mulder is also here, and Jelle Mulder is a guitar player, but also a big part in my act and what I bring to the world. He produces, and together we are on this journey.
Nice.
Yeah.
And how did your journey start? How your journey into music? How did it start?
How did it start? It started with me on the piano writing, and it started actually with me starting a study. I wanted to actually help other people, and then I had some personal issues, I won't say, but in my life, which brought me on this path of music and brought me wanting to create something from a place of pain. And I think it started when I decided to go to pop academics, the school I did for 2 years, and then I met a lot of musicians and I made a lot of music, and then I decided to quit. And then there was Corona, and then there was a lot of time, and then I met Jelle. I think already before that, but then I started to go to jam sessions, and then organically the bands started. We started to make music together and play together, and I always would bring my demos and ideas, and then we would together find a way to perform that. And pretty soon, it started rolling, and we would get gigs in Groningen. And I think that's a bit how it started, if that's logical.
I spoke to Jelle a bit, and he said that you would just come up to him and start, hey, listen to my rap. Or listen to my
Yeah.
So you're
I
not
think
the...
Oh yeah, there were moments where I was at a house party, and we had some of the same friends in Groningen, and then Rommy would come up to me and with a beat on YouTube, and just be like, "Yo, can I just improvise for you?" And then you just started rhyming, and then we leave the party, and then months later I would talk to you again, and that would happen multiple times, and then somewhere in time you asked me to perform at a like just an event, and you needed a form to, express some songs, some stories, I guess. We worked on a set. The show never happened, but the band got started, and then we, slowly we added musicians to the group, and then Rommy Gabay was also a band.
And did your love for jazz start at a young age, or did it evolve with your style? Like, was it always jazz and hip hop, or?
No, I think it started from my home. My mom used to listen to Bob Marley, Amy Winehouse, Nora Jones, Adele, like a bit pop, reggae,
Yeah.
and then later on, I got more interested in hip hop, and it fuses, from there.
Yeah.
But it was never starting off with this. Over the years, I think
Just evolved into.
it evolved. Yeah.
Nice, nice, nice. Thanks. Aurora, to you.
Hey.
Your music has this beautiful, intimate quality, and it feels like every song tells a personal story. What inspired you to pursue a career as a singer-songwriter?
Wow. That's a big question.
Okay, well, we have
Well,
time.
yeah. So I've always been a very musical person. I grew up with instruments in my house. Like my dad used to play the guitar and my mom used to play the piano. So I was very, there was music all the time. So it was a normal consequence for me to actually be attracted to play an instrument, you know? And I remember that I started just for fun because that made me happy. And as a kid, I did not want to study. I did not want to study music. It didn't make me happy to study. So my mom was very, she let me do my own things till I was, I don't know, a teenager. And then at one point after high school, I had to decide what to do with my life. And music was a big part of my life. I was already like playing the piano, the acoustic guitar, writing my own music, performing sometimes for family and friends. But after high school, I had this like huge like moment in my life, like what do I do? And I invested everything in studying music. I attended a classical music conservatory here in Palermo, and I thought, okay, I'm going to be a composer for, score composer for movies. Because I did write songs, but at that time, I didn't think I was going to be ever a singer songwriter or a singer in the first place. I just loved music. And one of the jobs that popped in my head was being a composer for movies. So that's how my path started with classical music. And after 3 years, I found out that music, like only music, was not enough for me. I needed to add words to the things that I composed. And I found out about Berkeley College, which is a beautiful college in Boston. But I couldn't fly to Boston and just to attend a college there. So I started studying online with Berkeley College online while I was doing the music conservatory here in Palermo. And I attended songwriting courses. And I found out more and more about songwriting and, writing better lyrics and all of this beautiful world that I had no idea. Like I used to study classical things, and at one point I was studying the Beatles and all these big bands like Queen, and I could see the classical studies being used in pop music. And I was very excited, and I thought, okay, I can compose my own songs and I could like perform in front of an audience. But I've always written my songs in English, which is weird for an Italian artist. But the very first time I performed in front of an audience that was not made of friends and family was in Nashville, Tennessee. And it was in I think it was 2015, almost 10 years ago. And I performed at the Bluebird Cafe for a songwriters night, and I felt like I was at home. And I felt like all my stories, just like Romy was saying, all the things that I wrote from a place of I need to write this down because I'm going through this emotion. When I performed in front of an audience, I realized that my music could, I mean, people could relate to the things that I was saying and I was writing, I was singing. And I came back to Italy, and I remember that I said, okay, I'm going to pursue this career. But I never thought that it was going to be a career. I always thought that it was going to be for, I don't know, maybe a couple of years. And it's almost 10 years now. And I've done some crazy things in this 10 years of, music.
Could you name one highlight?
One highlight, well, I was in Indonesia, and I never thought I was going to visit Asia with my music.
Yeah,
So, yeah, being in Indonesia was one of my highlights this year.
yeah, nice. And how would you say that growing up in Sicily influenced you and your music?
Wow. So I am Sicilian 100%. I was born and raised in Sicily, and I've had a weird relationship with my country, with my island, because I've always wanted to escape from here. I've always wanted to go far away and just, forget about the place where I came from. But the years passed, and I kind of grew a love for my land. I actually love being here. I feel very inspired by everything that we have here, like the sea, the mountains, the people. Like, I feel like this affection that I have for my country is in my music, even though I don't sing about it, and I don't explicitly talk about Sicily, but it's part of who I am. So, yeah.
And how is that for you, Romy? Because you're from Groningen. We've had a couple of guests from Groningen.
Yeah.
And they say that it's really a tight community in Groningen, but
Yeah.
there's also a lot of possibilities to perform in Groningen.
Yeah.
How did Groningen inspire you or influence you?
Yeah, I think in a way that indeed Groningen feels sometimes as like a little village. Like if I go back now, because I don't live there anymore, but if I go back there, like I always meet people that I know, and it's so nice that you have that sense of community there so easily. And I think also in Groningen there are a lot of places you can jam and together and come together, and you have Vera, you have Oosterpoort, you have a lot of places to perform. And I feel like after maybe Corona or through Corona, like more musicians were coming together, and there was more a need of live music, especially at this place, the Zolder. There was never really a lot of musicians going there, but after Corona, just people wanted live music
they
again.
missed it.
So
Yeah.
that
And now
it's
you
really nice.
you moved to Utrecht. It's
Yeah.
a different city, different vibe.
Yeah.
What did that do to you and your process of creating music?
It really created for me a space to be like, okay, where do I stand as a musician now? Where do I want to go? Because I felt in Groningen a bit like it was a bubble for me, and I wasn't feeling very creative anymore because I wasn't experiencing life anymore in a place of I felt like a bit stuck. So, and also as a musician, I wanted to build on my skills and become better at songwriting and producing. So that's why I decided to go to Utrecht and study music again. And now I feel like I'm a place where I create space where I can create again from a place of more knowledge instead of just creating from emotions.
And Jelle, would you say that you could that you can see the difference in Romy since she left town actually?
Oh, that's a good question. Definitely, I think. Yeah, I think Groningen is it's a bubble, and we've done a lot of musical project. You know, we played at a lot of places there, but since Romy is in Utrecht, you know, she's studying music again, and very, you know, she's very serious about it, and she takes all the new information and inspiration back to the band, and she does like producing on her own, but also, you know, I think to be able to play in Utrecht with all, you know, also other musicians, other jam sessions, whatever, like it's all good experience. So yeah, she's evolving still as an artist, as you should always be, I think. So
And you work together in creating music, obviously. How would you say is your process of creating new music? How would you describe that process when it comes to writing and performing?
I think you know, those are with Rommy Gabay, obviously. These are stories about, you know, things Romy experienced, but musically it's an open process. Like it could be Romy producing or making a little demo. It could be her asking the band for specific grooves or, you know, reference things that she listens to that inspire her. And then yeah, I think it's an open process. A lot of work in the studio, um, creating an idea that is has enough elements to work out in the rehearsal space, and then yeah, then also it's an open process where every band member tries to add a little thing. Uh, and at the moment, that's also what we're focused on. Again, we did a lot of gigs with the Pop Ronde in Holland. We played a lot of gigs. And then after, Romy was like, I need new energy. I want to think about the set. Like, which songs are we going to upgrade? So we're in that process now
And
of,
which we're gonna leave.
yeah.
Yeah.
What do you mean, leave?
Yeah, some songs like leave out.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna leave. Yeah, we're gonna leave some songs, and because Romy has new stories, like she lives in a new city, it's new energy.
It was very interesting what Romeo was saying about community, because in Palermo we have a very strong musicians community in the sense of people want to improve their skills, like their technique. So they do jam sessions, they do open mic nights. And I feel like at the beginning of my career, I looked up at this guys to these guys, and they were all like professionals, and I felt like I had to improve my skills. So the community is a big part in our cities because they can push you, like community can push you to take the best out of you,
Yeah.
and you know, go further and not stay where you are. And especially so before you travel and leave your city and before you go to other countries, it's like you need to work on yourself. And uh, it depends, of course, it depends on the level of your city. So it's very interesting that Romy felt the need to change and move away from her original city in order to feel inspired again. And this is what I've been going through as well as a singer songwriter. And I I am a folk singer songwriter, pop folk singer songwriter, and I feel like I need to be inspired again by the folk American community. And this is why I would love to go to places like Texas or Nashville in Tennessee, because I know that I will feel inspired again. Because once you reach your level, you're never like arrived. You always want to improve yourself. And sometimes this means that you have to change, you have to move cities, and you have to feel and be inspired again by different communities.
Yeah. Yeah, and take risks also in life
Yeah, and that's
too.
very scary.
It's so scary, but it's also necessary, I think,
Mm.
if you want to live like life as an artist, to
Yeah,
like face that scariness. And
Mm.
yeah.
yeah.
I feel like it when you are a woman as well, like when you take this step to move to another country or move to another cities, that's very brave, because I always feel like, I don't know, as a woman it's a little harder. I don't know, maybe it's because I'm Italian.
Mm. And maybe it depends on where you're going to, maybe.
Yeah, and I think it's also different. You live on an island,
Yeah.
maybe that's also like a bigger step than
Yes,
if you would just live like in a city in Italy,
that's true.
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because how would you describe your like the scene in? You
In
gave a
Palermo,
description. Yeah, but I mean, you sing in English.
I do
Um,
sing in English, yes. And in Palermo, there are many youth, I would say, like young people, that want to perform. They want to go out there and sing their songs. So you can see them now busking in the city center, which is something that didn't happen before COVID as at all. Like the main places where you would hear and listen music is would be like pubs or music venues, and now we have like young people that want to perform. They would even do karaoke on the streets. Like they are trying to find a place where they can be themselves and perform and express themselves, which is beautiful. So we have jazz venues, we have rock venues. I feel like it's in terms of places where you can perform your music, we have different small clubs, and also which is a perfect way to train yourself, you know. And I performed literally anywhere where people would do like eat, drink, talk. And
yeah.
this is like the path that a singer songwriter has to go through. And but it formed me as an artist. I feel like I am stronger than when I started because of, you know, the
Yeah.
city I live in.
And you've performed across the world, actually. Because you spoke about the States, Indonesia, and Europe.
The UK,
Yeah.
I've been to, of course, the north of Italy, but Belgium
Mm.
and the UK twice. And it's interesting to see the audience reaction around the world. Like people react to music and singers, especially singer songwriters, in a different way. And I realized something that is very interesting with the Indonesia experience, because in Italy, people, since I sing in English, people are more attracted to the music, the musical part of my songs. So if I sing a very upbeat song with rhythm, and they feel interested, they want to listen to that type of songs. Okay. But since I sing in English, they're like more interested in the music part instead of the lyrics. And so I tend to create a set list where I don't have a lot of smooth and slow songs, because I don't want my audience to be distracted or, you know, fall out. And when I went to Indonesia, I did the same thing. I was like, okay, I'm performing solo. It's me and my guitar. So I need to create a set list that is going to be interesting, that is going to be attractive. So upbeat music and, you know, pop songs. And I realized that the Indonesian audience was completely different. They felt it was too much. When I played like stronger songs, they felt like, I mean, they liked it, but they actually connected more with me when I performed slower songs, smooth songs and calm music, they enjoyed it more. So it's very interesting when you perform in different countries to see people's reactions. And I actually felt a little better because as a solo artist, you feel the pressure to keep the people involved. You know what I mean? I don't know if with Romy, if this happens to you guys when you feel like you have to keep your audience with you, especially when you are in a smaller situation, like you were saying, an intimate version of who you guys are.
Yeah.
And you feel like, okay, I have to keep the audience with me. I'm going to do whatever I can. So being a solo artist, sometimes you feel this type of pressure. And in Indonesia, it felt great because they actually loved softer music,
Yeah.
and it was really nice.
Yeah. I have a question. It's different from you're saying now, but I'm just curious. Do you have a booker? Like, how do you get to go to all these countries and play your music?
I don't have a booking agents.
No, you just
I
people
just
approach you, or do you approach? How does that
I
work?
do send a lot of emails, and I do this work for myself. Um, but I think that it's time for me to just find somebody to do it for me.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, it's a
yeah,
lot of work.
it is. You guys have a booking agent?
Nope, no, no. But for now, I think we're good, and it's also really a learning process how to
Yeah.
approach those people, and if you want to play there, how do you arrange that? Me and Yella are mostly in charge of that, and it's very nice to have a partner to
Yeah.
conversate this with. But yeah, eventually, of course, it would be great to have a booker who would know what the music that we're playing, that it resonates with the people and the audience and the place. But
Yeah, but we learn while we do this. Like I always say that I am an independent artist in the sense that I take care of most of the things that I do.
yeah,
I not only write music and perform, but I also take care of all the aspects that involve my music, which is like booking or managing my project and finding, I don't know, social media ideas and like content and stuff like that. But while I do all of this, I always learn new things and I become a well aware artist. Uh, and I feel like we live in a world where people want to be managed by other people. And so when you are in the music business, you will have many people talking to you, many people telling you what to do, what music to produce, and how to produce it. And when you are young in the music business, you just go with the flow. You just do what people tell you to do. And this is the main difference between an independent artist and young artists that are managed from the beginning. Because
yeah,
I know that I'm well aware of the things that I want and how I want to do them instead of just waiting for things to happen to me. And I'm a stronger believer that artists should be independent in the sense of deciding what to do with their career.
Yeah.
yeah,
And it's also a good thing that we have social media now because that kind of gives you the opportunity to create your own audience and build your own audience base.
It's a
Actually,
lot of work, of
yeah,
course.
yeah,
yeah,
And I wish I had somebody that would do it for me,
yeah,
but I don't know if I would be happy the way they would do it
yeah,
because also social media is a way we connect with our audience and they connect with our music first. So I feel like they connect with the person that we are. And social media is a way to show them who we are and we can show this much or like this little or whatever. It's up to us to reveal the person that that we are through music and through social media.
yeah.
yeah,
And what I really like about you is that you also share this knowledge. I saw some videos on YouTube, even though it's only in Italy,
Italian, yeah.
in Italian. Um, but I thought it was really cool that you're that you're willing to share your experiences and your thoughts on.
Yeah, and this happened. I mean, the reason why I do this is because I work with young people. So I work in high schools as well. I teach songwriting to kids, and I hear their conversations, and they're like, oh, when I'll be 18 years old, I'll be a singer. I'll go to X Factor. I'll go to The Voice. I'll go blah blah blah. So talent shows, TV shows. And I'm like, is this the only way kids think you could be a musician or a singer songwriter? Because right now in Italy, we are having this huge, I would say, like, I don't know, it's a movement. So the only Italian artists, new artists that we have, they come from TV shows. And I don't like that. So kids think this is the way, like this is the way to become someone, this is the way to work in the music business. And I'm like, no, you can do it on your own. You can go through these steps, and you will, be a singer songwriter or a singer or a musician in a band. There are plenty of opportunities. You don't have to look up to TV and wish you could be on TV. Also, because I mean, the trouble with the TV, I'm not going to talk about it, but yeah.
Yeah.
Is it the same in Holland? Like, do you guys have this big monster of talent shows that, you know,
Well,
collect
they are kind of
talent?
monsters.
Yeah, I mean, they are monsters to me. I'm not afraid to say it. I always said no to X Factor, The Voice, because they do reach out to ask you if you want to be on the show. And that's not the way I want to do my music. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I just got asked, they're like, uh, I just got asked for like a program, and but I'm actually going to like the casting to, I just want to know how the casting is, but most of the stories I've heard, it's them taking control over the story of you. And I think, I mean, it's a possible way to build yourself as an artist, but they have
Yeah.
more control. And I think you, Aura, like you're really yeah, you talk a lot about building your own story. I think that's the
Yeah.
general thing that you want to do. But the downside of doing it independently is that it's also a full-time job. Like it's more than a job. It's your what's the English word for bedrijf?
Company.
It's your own little company, like little, and maybe it becomes bigger. So it has a lot of responsibilities.
Yeah.
I don't know if all TV is evil. I'm curious, but we have some horrible stories, of course, but also some good stories. We do it independent as well with Rommy Gabay, and I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, I feel like you could go to a TV show or a talent show, whatever, if you are still in control. And if you know, like, you are going to use the TV for your sake, for
Yeah.
your business. So this is the thing, like you could go. I actually talked to a few friends who went to X Factor, and I told them, okay, if you want to go to X Factor, just have a plan. Like, don't let them use you or your image or your music. And also, I've been on TV, but for different reasons. And I think it's a very powerful tool. If you go on TV, there will be many people watching you. You will reach a bigger audience in a very short amount of time. So that's huge. And if you have that chance, go do it. But at the same time, just walk in the room knowing who you are and what you want out of that experience instead
Yeah.
of just wishing they will do something for you. So this is the main difference.
It
Yeah.
has to be part of a plan. Because if you get there and nothing is prepared, you don't have a single out, you don't have nothing out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just a waste of a momentum, actually, I think.
Yeah,
And
you have to how do you say it, like take advantage of the situation.
Yeah,
If you're going to be on TV, just have a plan.
yeah.
And yeah.
And you've only performed in the Netherlands still, right?
We did perform in Denmark
Okay.
in the summer at Spot Festival,
Hmm.
and we did a show in Germany
Okay.
at Norden Festival. That was really fun, very different.
Yeah.
But
Elaborate on the differences.
yeah, yeah, it was different from yeah. For example, in Germany, it was just it was so new for us. Like, how do we talk to the people? Um, do I prepare something also with something from Germany? Like, do I say
The typical.
some
Yeah.
words, or how do I do that? And then I tried it, and
Wie
it was like
geht's?
it was like silence, and I was like, okay, that's not the way. But it was very fun to see the reaction of the people, and I think the music that we did a set where it was where there was also focus on dancing and moving, and I felt like the festival, there were also alternative people coming there, and it resonated with the crowd, so that was nice. And we had a talk with the guy who organizes it, and he was very excited about it, and now we still have contact,
Yeah.
so that's nice. And in Denmark, Spot Festival, Jelle, do you remember how that felt for you?
I think because you play internationally, you know, they have a lot of respect, and I don't know if it though like those two showcases, those festivals were super, I think, well organized. There was a lot of attention to the artist. There were a lot of crew members at stage, so it was compared to a lot of gigs in Holland. It was a bit more professional. Although I have to say, we also did the Haarlem Jazz Festival in like a city in Holland, which was also quite professional. So maybe just because it was bigger, but then also you're from Holland, so they were curious about why we were playing there. And that was a lot of fun. I think there was a lot of attention. And in Germany, the audience was just listening and we got a lot of applause. So it was a different places. It depends on festivals as well, but it's also a change for us because when you travel so far to play a gig, the energy is just higher up. You know,
Yeah,
it's a different energy. Like,
yeah.
yeah,
And
so
also for the
it's good.
group,
It's
like knowing
good
you have a
experiences.
gig somewhere else and you're in a car and we're talking about it and we're getting excited, and then we also go around in a city, and I think that also brings a different energy to the performance,
Yeah,
knowing
it's
you're in this
rewarding.
together. Yeah.
Yeah. And you're both independent artists. And in Groningen you have Eurosonic Noorderslag. And you went to South by Southwest. Could you talk about the importance of such events for you as an
Oh, yeah.
artist?
Yeah.
Well, that you go ahead.
I think Eurosonic is very important because then there are, I think it's 4 days, 3 days, where a lot of people from Groningen itself, but also from all over the world, come there and perform. And it's for musicians, but also for the people, but it's also for bookers and management to come and see you and see what you're about, and making connections with other musicians. And we played there now for, I think, already 3 years in a row we played there. And every time we get something out of that performance. For example, like the last time we because of Eurosonic, we got to play in Germany, and we got to play at Spot Festival because people were interested. So I think it's very important.
Yeah. Anything to add on, Aurora?
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree.
South,
Oh,
yeah,
sorry. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, no, no. I was curious about the. I think that's a festival in America, right?
Yeah, it is in Texas, and I agree with Romy. It's really important to just attend and be there. Also, because the music business is built on relationships. So the more people you know, and the more people know about you, the more opportunities you have to move on to the next step. So for me at South by Southwest, it felt a little overwhelming because it's a huge festival that involves also iTech and movies and music, and so it was very big, but it was very interesting to meet new people from the industry and tell my story. And like you guys were saying, when you travel from far away, you are more interesting. Like your music is different from other artists. So you have these opportunities to connect with people that you don't usually meet in your hometown. So, as an independent artist, you have to be prepared. You have to be, well, brave and courageous to just, introduce yourself and talk about your music without being cocky. And it's a great opportunity for independent artists. Absolutely.
I think we have talked quite a bit now. I think it's live for some live music. We're gonna do your session at Vera first from Rommy Gabay.
Nice.
So what are we going to listen to?
We're gonna listen to Yellow. That was then the most recent song I wrote, and it very resonated at the time how I was feeling. And yeah, I wanted to show and play something fresh with the band. And it's talks about me being in a relationship where I felt it wasn't going anywhere anymore. And maybe also for people, it could be empowerment that you should not settle for less. Yeah.
Rommy Gabay and Yellow.
It never caught me by surprise. You said life is getting a little boring without me by your side. I can't deny I'm feeling better off without you. You should have thought this true when you said we were over. You should have thought this true when you texted her. You should have known that this would be the last time. 'Cause for sure I'm never gonna get back to you. No more walking down your street. We've been through that. I thought you knew that. You were my yellow. Now I am done with being the one you wanted. No more walking down your street. We've been through that. I thought you knew that. You were my yellow. Now I'm
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, you have to go to London, girl.
Ah, yes, I want to. Yeah,
You should
maybe in the future.
in the future.
2 years. 2 years.
Nice. So was it always your idea to sing in English, or did you?
It came naturally, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I began with playing covers. Actually, I started off with playing keys, and a friend of mine would always sing, and then we started not being friends, and I was like, yeah, it's boring just to play the keys. And then I started singing myself. I started to do covers, and that was mostly always English, like Corinne Bailey Ray.
Yeah.
It's like doing or Nora Jones.
So it wasn't like that you already had like this foresight that I want to go international, so I have to do English rather than Dutch only.
No,
No.
no, that was never my state of mind. No,
Yeah.
no.
Nice. And you've always sang in English as well, right?
Yeah, and just like Romy, it wasn't because I wanted to go out of Italy. It just came naturally because of the music I've always listened to, and that's the language that I connect with when I write music. Also, it's like English is very different from Italian. Italian has very long words, and it's really hard to put them together on a musical idea that I have. So I find myself singing in English because it actually flows in a different way. Maybe Romy can, relate to this, but English flows differently, especially when you listen to a lot of American artists, a lot of English artists. That's what you want to do. Like, you go that way with
Yeah.
music.
And even though that it's in English, um, do you feel that like your Sicilian cultural heritage still has a place in your music?
I don't know, because Sicilian culture is very different from Italian culture. Um, what I take from Italian culture, like musical culture, for sure, is the mindset. So we have very good musicians here, like very like trained musicians who aim for perfectionism. So this is how I was trained. Like, classical music is all about uh, being like finding your perfect sound, perfect pitch. So I feel like I was influenced by this idea of getting better with my instrument, with my voice, with my writing. So this is how, which is a lot of pressure as well. And this doesn't happen. This doesn't happen in America. Like in America, they're like, "Oh, just go with your emotions, whatever you feel. Like it's okay. You don't have to be perfect." And I wish I had that kind of training. But in Italy, we do have perfectionism as something that it's part of our culture, and it's really bad sometimes, but some other times it just pushes you to be better. And as a musician, like, there is a lot of competition in the music business, so you always feel like you have to give the best version of yourself, whether it's live or in the studio. And I mean, it's good and bad at the same time.
Yeah, because it can also like kind of like delay the process if you keep on being
Yeah,
perfectionistic. Because
yeah,
sometimes
and
artists just throw stuff out and it works, kind of.
that's true. And this is what I struggle with kids in high school, because they tend to keep their thoughts to themselves. Like, oh, I don't want to share this because it sounds stupid. You're not gonna like it. Like, and I always try to push them and say, hey, it doesn't matter if it's not perfect. Like, a bad idea will lead you to a better idea. So I find myself now teaching the opposite that was taught to me.
Yeah, nice.
Uh, but yeah, it's very interesting, because I strongly believe that you will not create a good idea just like this. You need a lot of bad things, like bad lyrics, bad chords, until you find the good ones.
And Could you relate with this, Jelle and Romy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
very much. I think, yeah,
I see the pain in your eyes. Like, yeah.
yeah. I think you have to, yeah, you have to keep trying and also keep believing that that good idea will come and not hoping for it to just pop up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not stress out too much. Like I've read people, like big songwriters that say, "Hey, if an idea doesn't come, just go for a walk. Just leave the song and just forget about it and enjoy life." This is my motto right now.
Go for a walk.
Yeah, just go and experience life and climb a mountain. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have mountains here, so
Oh,
unfortunately,
no, that's
we have some
go
hills.
for a swim. Do you have this? No, you don't. Do you have lakes?
Yeah.
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 Then go for a swim.
I don't know. It's quite cold, but
Yeah.
Oh, but Jelle likes to swim in cold water.
I like to swim. I like to swim in the winter, baby.
In the winter. Oh my
and,
gosh.
and
Yeah.
does it help your creative process as well?
Well, it helps to it helps against stress. So if I have less stress, I'll write definitely more. Like me in a calm state is a better writer. Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
Nice. It's time to listen to your song, Aurora.
Oh, okay.
Introducing to us.
Well, I think we're going to listen to my latest single, which is A Cool Car and a Good Smile. And I'm very proud of this baby because it entered my very first American Spotify playlist. And as an independent artist, which is insane because I'm Italian and that's really hard to do. So, yeah.
DJ.
Red wine, seaside. I'm living in a dream, I'm living in a light. Soft breeze, moonlight. I'm turning off my phone, turning off my mind. It was just like a movie. We moved in black and white. No happy ending, it's a violent crime. You got a cool car, but you're the wrong guy. And a good smile, especially when you lie. Don't leave, you said, just meet me on the corner. I'll be there. I'll make up an excuse. This secret dies with me. And you, boy, but will I die too? Small talk, long walking. If you drop me home, I'll wait for the phone to buzz. I'm eating out of his hand, buying every illusional plan. He says he'll put me in a song. He'll learn about the stars above, but it's just so obvious, isn't it obvious? You got a cool car, but you're the wrong guy. And a good smile, especially when you lie. Don't leave, you said, just meet me on the corner. I'll be there. I'll make up an excuse. This secret dies with me. And you, boy, but will I die too? I could swear I locked it away. It was safe and sound. I never gave the key to anyone. So now I think he stole it. He stole my heart, and I have a hole in the middle of my chest again. He had a cool car. Too bad I could not play the part. Down on the floor, you're on the corner where I dropped you in. I ain't nobody's fool to back my heart and drop away from you. Away from you. Away from you. Away from you.
Yay, thank you.
Nice song.
Thanks.
It really makes me want to do a road trip in
Yeah,
the
right.
States.
I want to go back to America.
So the song,
Yeah, the song. So the title is "A Cool Car and a Good Smile," and it's a kind of a fake story. It's not like biography or something. So it's a story about a boy and a girl falls in love for a guy who promises a big things. And at one point, she understands that he loves more. He doesn't love her. He's just faking. He loves his car. He's got a cool car, right? He's got a good smile, especially when he lies, when he tells her lies. So at one point, she decides to steal his car and drive away from him. Yeah, it's a funny story, and it's the first time I write something that it didn't really happen to me
yeah,
or happened at all, and I had fun. Like for me, this is a fun song. It's what country music also is about, like telling stories, storytelling, and it's one of the reasons why I love to write music, just to tell stories and yeah, have fun with music.
nice to hear. Because both of your music carries a lot of your, not not a lot, but a lot of emotional weight, and you each have such a strong connection to your personal stories.
Yeah.
But how do you both manage the emotional side of your music careers? Do you
Should I go first?
yeah.
Yeah, you go first.
Well, I've always written like very sad songs, uh, because this is when I find myself composing and creating. Like when I'm in a very deep place in my life, I always find music as a refuge, a place where I can go and just hide and process things that happen to me or to somebody else. So I feel like I am a lighter person. Like I'm happy. I'm a happy person because of music, because I can process my hard feelings through the songs that I write. And um, sometimes when you sing songs that you wrote years and years ago and you've been through that emotion, like it's in the past, it doesn't belong to you anymore. But at the same time, you know that that song can help somebody else to go through the same things you went through. And I feel like music is so powerful. Like it's such a powerful expression, art expression. So yeah.
Yeah,
How about you?
I resonate a lot with what you're saying. Like, for me, also, music is that thing when I'm feeling down or I have a lot of questions. Yeah, start to, yeah, write. Mostly also, like, first in my diary. I love to, like,
Yeah.
write on a daily to, like, know what is going on and to reflect. But I think, yeah, music is for me like the way of therapy. And if there, for me also, like moving to Utrecht, I feel that more because sometimes I don't have those friends who I used to have close by my side, and now I have that conversation sometimes mostly with myself, like, oh, how am I feeling about that? And I think, yeah, that for me it's a necessity to put that into music and to release some emotions that are too heavy to carry to the next chapter.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to take a class on how people write happy songs because I'm not able to write happy songs. I'm like, how do people do that? Because when I'm
Yeah.
happy, I'm not writing. Like enjoying life.
Ask
But I,
Pharrell Williams how he wrote
yeah, right.
Happy. Yeah.
I do feel like I need to write happier songs. So and this is why I really love A Cool Car and a Good Smile because it's not a real story, but
Maybe
it's a
that's
happy.
the way, just to fantasize about stories that
Yeah.
aren't real.
Yeah. Because do you find it hard to
Because life
constantly?
sucks. No, I'm just
Yeah, that's why in my head.
Because would you say that you find it hard to constantly draw from your personal stories? Is that why you want to make some happier songs now, or?
yeah, but um only because I feel like there has to be like I come from country music. I love country songs, and there has to be a story inside a song. Sometimes you need an evil character, a hero, and I feel like a good song can tell like a big story. And yeah, I don't know what I'm saying, but yeah, I feel like sad songs. I mean, I love sad music. I listen to a lot of sad songs, but I understand that at one point when you want to hang out with your friends, you're not going to play sad songs. This is why I never want to play my songs to my friends. I'm like, oh, do you want to be depressed tonight? Like, yeah.
But isn't it? Maybe it's a myth, but that like the best music comes from the darkest times.
Oh,
From
yeah. It's not a myth. Absolutely. I mean, to me, that's
yeah,
real.
yeah.
I don't know if,
Maybe
what
it's,
Romy thinks.
is it maybe because people are more sad than happy, so it resonates more like all the drama and the hardships.
No, maybe because when you're sad, you feel like you want to do something with that emotion
Yeah.
to transform it. And when you're happy, you're just
Just
happy.
happy.
You don't feel the need to
Yeah,
how
maybe
I
say
feel.
something. So I think maybe that's why. And for an artist, you feel the need to create something. Dus
Yeah.
that's why maybe it comes more. When you're
Yeah.
sad, you feel the need to.
to express yourself or
Yeah.
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 Interesting. Like in these hard moments or writing these not darker songs, but maybe some emotionally challenging songs. Do you have maybe some rituals or something to stay grounded? Because you have to kind of get out of it again, or is it the music that takes you out of it, or
Well, sometimes, just like Romy said, journaling, like writing diaries, that helps. And also, it helps when you just go and sit with your emotions instead of saying, "Oh, this is a good moment to write a song." Like
Yeah.
if I do that, I can never write a song. Like I just sit with my emotion. I talk with my friends. I write it down, and at one point, I just grab the guitar and I'm like, okay, I need some music. I just need to relax, and yeah, you sing over the chords, you sing over the music, and of course, it connects to what you're going through. Sometimes you don't know what you're singing, you don't know what the song is about, you just go with the flow. It's different every time. It is. And there is no secret recipe to write a good hit or a good song. I believe that the best songs in the world, they are true songs, like honest songs, instead of, songs that just people dance to or hit songs. I don't know. Yeah. They come from a real place.
yeah.
Yeah. Or somebody who has a very good imagination, maybe.
Yeah.
That can also be in a way real.
Yeah, and you
Maybe.
can relate to what they're saying. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So, you talked about best songs are from like a real honest place, but then, the last song there was a kind of made up story, and it was happy,
It was a
and
mix.
I think yeah, and you said it was picked up by a big playlist. I think this last one.
See, yeah.
Yeah. So how does that feel? I don't know if you had songs before that were picked up by like on Spotify, but does it feel different that this one is like, the more upbeat, and so you made a different song and that one got picked up? Is that how do you how does that work for you? Because normally you write a lot of sad songs, or do they also get a lot of playlist and stuff? Because that is, the happy song, I guess.
Yeah, you're right. But also, this single came out 2 years after my last one. So I feel like the world changed in 2 years and my music changed. I'm still looking for my sound and my perfect musical expression. But Yeah, it is interesting that when I released this song, also people that collaborate with me, they were like, okay, this one is really good. So I always feel like we are in a process and we do get better. The more we try, the more we produce, we will find new things about ourselves, about our music. So I feel like I released this song and I was a different person from the person that I was years ago. So my music was different. And maybe this is what happened. Like, I feel like there were many factors around this release. Yeah.
Yeah. Love the song though. Love the little funky guitars. I was like, hey, if you ever need some country funky
Oh, yeah.
guitars, you can also like that's my thing also. Like with Romy, we do a lot of soul, but I could do those country riffs as well. So
Oh, thank you. I would
yeah.
love to collaborate.
Nice. You should come to the Netherlands.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I would love to come visit. I've never been to Holland before.
Did
May-
you apply for the Eurosonic?
I did apply, and I think I applied also last year or 2 years ago, but I didn't make it. So I am jealous of you guys that you guys can go every year.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. For me too.
Yeah, this year not though. I didn't. I
Okay.
didn't sign in.
But you had a good reason, right?
I had a good reason. Yeah. Yeah.
What's the reason? Would you like to share?
What's the reason? Yeah, I feel like the phase where I am in now, and I think also the band, because we played a lot of shows, I really want to create a space where we are going into the creative process again and taking time for that to really, yeah, be in a place of inspiration again instead of performing songs that
Yeah.
aren't maybe resonating anymore in a way. So yeah, we really I said to the band, I think it's time to not play shows anymore and to just focus on the feeling of the group again and the feeling of okay, so if we would organize our own show in Groningen, how would that look like? What is the atmosphere we want to bring? How do we want to connect with the people? And what is the connection that the band has together? And what do I bring as Rommy Gabay to? Yeah, I think because of I had a lot of questions that, yeah, it's time for us to think about that more and to just really give it some time and not to rush it because it's my baby.
Yeah.
In a way, my music. So, yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any questions, maybe, or you, Aurora?
Yeah. When do you go to England?
When, yeah, I think when I finish my study, and I also want to be at a level of producing where I'm now not still at, but when I want to reach a skill set when I go there, and that I'll be like, yeah, but I can also produce my own beats, and then maybe go there and collaborate with some people, and also maybe now build on some context because I don't know anybody. I only know a random bassist player from Nick's Northwest, a rapper. I don't know if you know him.
No.
He's from London. I met him very randomly in a cafe. And he was telling me about how in England, in the music scene he is, how everybody is, they have this mind state of, yeah, we're all kind of broke musicians, but we really want to do this and we're helping each other out. That's why we're always collaborating with each other, or they have this big group chat where they send messages in if somebody can't play in the band or something. I was like, yeah, that sounds like a vibe.
They didn't add you yet? To
No,
the group?
not
okay.
yet. Maybe I should push it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So both of you kind of like feel that the next best thing is getting out of your own country, right? Or
Maybe not
really?
getting out, but exploring where
Exploring.
your sound comes from.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Because I do feel like my sound is not from Italy,
Yeah.
and sometimes you feel like everybody's doing like everybody understands each other, and you're talking a different language. So when I go to the States and I go to Nashville or Texas, I feel at home. I feel like, oh, this is my people, not because they are American, but because this is where my music comes from America. It comes from a place where people sings and tells stories, and just with the acoustic guitar, and it I don't feel the pressure of connecting with the audience on the sense of in the sense of I have to conquer my audience. It is more chilled, and this is what sometimes we need to create more. We just need to be chilled.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and you don't want to overtuigen. Wat is
Convince.
convince people to
Exactly.
listen. Yeah. Yeah.
And what if you tried like singing one of your songs in Italian? Which
My
is
songs in Italian,
maybe one song or maybe the last song.
I don't. Well, it's not because of the language. It's because
Okay.
of the way people. Well, the way we write music in Italian, it's completely different. I don't know if it's the same with your language, but in Italian, we don't tell stories, which is completely different from my idea of songwriting. I want to tell a story, and in Italian, we use a lot of metaphors. We use less words because we have longer words. So it's a way, the way I write music in English cannot be translated in Italian. Like it cannot be the same vibe or sound. And what I did in the last years, I did explore the translation worlds. So I took some songs from Italian and I translated them in English to see what happens when you keep the same song but change the language. And this little game went viral on TikTok and people loved it because I did it with like Italian hit songs that I don't usually listen to. And once you translate an Italian songs into English, it could become like an Adele song or Ed Sheeran. And people were like shocked because they understood that it's an interesting game to do. And I also did the opposite thing with a song that it's called The House of the Rising Sun, which is a very famous blues song. It's a song that in the 60s was very huge because of the Animals. The Animals did it in the UK, but originally nobody knows who wrote this song. Nobody knows who wrote The House of the Rising Sun. We have like the very first recordings, they are from the 1920s, so almost, well, 100 years ago. And the funny thing is that in Italy, they took this song and they translated it in Italian, but they completely changed the story. So the original song is about this house in New Orleans, which is probably a house of prostitution and gambling. And there's this guy who's saying, please do not do what I have done. Do not waste your money. Do not waste your life. And blah, blah, blah. So, and what happened? They took the song in the 60s in Italy, and they turned it into a love song, which is insane because it's completely different from the original story. So, what I did last year, I translated it with the original meaning. So, I sing in Italian and I sing the original idea of the song. And people were pissed in Italy. They didn't like it. They were like, "Oh, you're ruining our song. It's a love song." And but there were other people that were actually very interested. For instance, I sang it. I sang this song at South by Southwest in Austin, and Americans loved it. They loved to hear the song with Italian words, and it was very interesting. It's an experiment. Yeah.
Nice.
Do you guys know this song, "The House of the Rising Sun"?
No.
Does sound very
Yeah, of course.
familiar, the title. How does it start?
There is a house in New Orleans.
Oh yeah. They call the right.
Oh, wait, our producers are gonna.
But it's insane because
It's a
in
banger.
Italy, everybody thought it was a love song because they knew
Oh yeah. Oh, I know this song. It's from a movie as well, right?
There is a house in New Orleans. They call the rising sun. And it's been the ruin of many a poor boy. In God, I know I'm one.
I also sing it in my set list when I perform. That's the only Italian song that I sing. Yeah.
Well, I think we are getting to the end of the episode. Thank you very much, all three of y'all.
Yeah, it was nice to meet you
Yeah.
both.
And thanks for sharing your stories and music with us today. But before we go, where can our listeners follow your journey and stay updated to specific dates and upcoming projects?
Think mostly for announcements on my Instagram and
What's your Instagram?
Rommy Gabay, my name. And yeah, just keep an eye on my Spotify for next year. We're busy with recording a debut EP. So yeah, I don't have specific dates, but next year.
Next year.
Yeah.
Nice. What about yourself, Aurora?
Yeah, you can find me on social media, on Instagram, at Aurora D'Amico. And then if you like to know a little bit more about how to be an independent artist, if there are independent artists listening to the podcast, I do videos on YouTube about my journey and about, very practical things like if you want to be an endorser, the things that I've done as a Fender endorser. And, if you want to write an email and you don't know how to write an email, like I actually talk about very practical things on YouTube. Yeah.
Is it in English or in Italian?
It's in Italian, but I think you can put subtitles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you again, Rommy Gabay, Jelle Mulder, Aurora D'Amico, and for all of y'all for tuning in. Make sure to follow YouTube, Spotify, everything, Far Out Podcast. Make sure to tune in. And a major shout out to our sponsors, Kunstraad en Gemeente Groningen, Poppodium Vera, Stichting Frequency, and Studio Mojo Dojo. For this amazing series, actually. I had a lot of fun. I hope you had fun too. And make sure to tune in and see you next time.